Creeps and cretins, welcome to the Madhouse yet again.
Yes.
Unless it's your first time, then welcome without the other part. Yeah, here we are. I'm Master Seth, the Master of Ceremonies. With me, as always, is Mistress Dandeli, the Queen of Crete. We're doing something different tonight.
Yes, we are.
We're not going to watch one movie.
No.
We're going to watch 5 movies.
5.
And they're all so short, I still got to figure out how to fucking pad this out when I get into editing. This shit's got to go to like 2 hours, man.
There are some things, though, that we're going to end up talking about because some of these movies are pretty crazy.
You might be watching a lot of us talking.
Uh-huh.
But we're pretty fucking interesting, so, you know, we'll see how it goes.
We'll have some commercials.
We'll see how it goes. I'll put some commercials in there.
From our sponsors.
From our sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
The people who pay us.
That's right, our sponsors.
We don't get any goddamn money. Jesus fucking Christ, we're on the verge of getting sued every goddamn day. Oh, Christ. Okay, yeah. Educational films tonight. Back to school special.
Back to school.
It's the movies from the Mad... I didn't make a big deal out of it. Welcome to the movies from the Madhouse Back to School special.
Yes, that's much better.
So, you remember... Something I was thinking about the other day, and this just popped into my mind. I'm sorry we didn't rehearse any of this at all, but something that just popped into my mind. Do you remember when you were a kid, and when it was time for the new cartoon season to start, there would be a prime time special that showed up on at 8 o'clock on network TV, on all 3 of the network TV channels, that was your Saturday morning cartoon preview.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd show the ads for all the cartoons that were going to be on Saturday. And now, Saturday morning cartoons don't even fucking exist.
No.
If you know where they exist, let me know. So I can find out. You can email us at moviesfromthemadhouse@gmail.com. All one word, all lowercase, moviesfromthemadhouse@gmail.com. I'm sorry I wasn't thinking clearly when I set up the name of the email address, so I'm sorry that it's so fucking long and you're gonna misspell it like 18 fucking times. Well, fuck it, let's watch some educational movies. I mean, you're gonna get your education. We got our books, we got our backpacks. It is time to go to school, and the first thing you need to learn is your fucking manners.
Learn your manners.
Thank you for coming to Movies from the Madhouse.
Just before lunch one day, a puppet show was put on at school. It was called Mr. Bungle Goes to Lunch. It was fun to watch. In the puppet show, Mr. Bungle came to the boys' room on his way to lunch. He looked at his hands. His hands were dirty, and his hair was messy. But Mr. Bungle didn't stop to wash his hands or comb his hair. He went right to lunch. Then, instead of getting into line at the lunchroom, Mr. Bungle pushed everyone aside and went right to the front. Even though this made the children laugh, no one thought that was a fair thing to do. Then, in the lunchroom, Mr. Bungle was so clumsy and impolite that he knocked over everything, and no one wanted to sit next to him. And when he finally knocked his own tray off the table, that was the end of the puppet show. The children knew that even though Mr. Bungle was funny to watch, he wouldn't be much fun to eat with. Phil knew that a Mr. Bungle wouldn't have many friends. He wouldn't want to be like Mr. Bungle. Later, Miss Brown said it was time for the children who ate in the cafeteria to go to lunch. She hoped there weren't any Mr. Bungles in this room. Phil stopped to return a book to Miss Brown while his friends went on to the lunchroom. He would have to catch up with them later. On his way to catch up with his friends, Phil almost walked past the boys' room, but he stopped and thought. Were his hands clean? No, they were a little dirty. Phil remembered that Mr. Bungle didn't wash his hands. Mr. Bungle's hair was messy, too. Phil didn't want to be like Mr. Bungle. Inside the boys' room, Phil was surprised to see some of his friends washing their hands, too. Phil washed his hands well, with lots of soap. Then he rinsed the soap off. Phil dried his hands well, too. When he was finished, he threw the paper towel in the basket where it belonged. And then he made sure that his hair looked neat. Now, Phil and his friends were ready for lunch. There was a line of children waiting to get into the lunchroom when Phil got there. He saw some boys he knew at the front of the line. They waved for him to go up to the front with them. But Phil didn't want to break into line as Mr. Bungle did. So Phil went to the end. That was the fair thing to do. He would see his other friends inside the lunchroom. The line moved very fast, and soon Phil was inside. First, he picked up his tray. Then he got his silverware. He put his knife, fork, and spoon neatly on the tray. And then he slid his tray along. He always enjoyed looking at the good food in the cafeteria. It tasted good and was good for him, too. Instead of having a sandwich today, Phil decided to take the hot lunch. Phil took some bread and butter, too. And he knew what else he wanted, milk. But Alice took the last carton on the tray. Maybe there was more milk, so he said, "May I please have some milk?" Phil remembered to say, "May I?" and "please." That was very polite. Yes, there was more milk. Phil remembered to say, "Thank you," when he took the carton of milk. Phil had good manners. He didn't want to be like Mr. Bungle in the lunchroom. Phil didn't want to forget his dessert. The cake looked delicious. At the end of the line, the lunchroom supervisor said she had noticed how polite Phil was, and she smiled at him. She wouldn't smile at a Mr. Bungle. Phil went to the table where his friends were. He put his tray down carefully, pulled out his chair quietly, and sat down. He knew his friends wouldn't like a noisy Mr. Bungle at their table. There was someone Phil liked, Freddie. He always brought his lunch from home. It looked good. Freddie had a sandwich, an apple, a cookie, and milk. Before Phil began to eat, he always put a napkin on his lap. So did Freddie. Everyone liked Freddie. He was very polite. For example, if he had food in his mouth when someone talked to him, he always took time to chew the food with his mouth closed and swallow before he answered. Phil noticed how straight and tall Freddie usually sat. Freddie kept his feet on the floor, too. Phil would rather be like Freddie than like Mr. Bungle. Another polite person everyone liked was Alice. For example, when Alice sneezed, she covered her mouth and nose. This protected her friends at the table from any germs. While Phil and his friends ate, a boy ran past their table. You shouldn't run in the lunchroom. Only Mr. Bungle would do that. Phil and his friends wouldn't like to have a Mr. Bungle at their table. Then lunchtime wouldn't be as much fun as it is. Phil ate slowly and enjoyed his lunch. Finally, he had eaten everything except his dessert. He saved his cake for last. Only a Mr. Bungle would eat his dessert before he'd finished the rest of his lunch. And Phil wasn't a Mr. Bungle. The cake was good. Phil drank his milk carefully. Some children are messy when they drink milk, but not Phil. As each of Phil's friends finished, they didn't leave the table, but waited for all the others to finish eating too. Phil was the last one done. He wiped his mouth and hands carefully with his napkin. Then he cleaned the table where he sat. He didn't want to leave his place at the table dirty. Everyone at the table cleaned his own place well. But look at that table. It was left very messy. Phil thought a Mr. Bungle must have sat there. But Phil didn't want to be like Mr. Bungle, so he put his chair neatly into place. And his table looked fine. Not a piece of paper or scrap of food was left on it. No Mr. Bungle sat here. Phil's friends were careful to put their waste papers and empty milk cartons where they belonged. In this way, they helped keep the lunchroom clean. Phil was certain that Mr. Bungle wouldn't put his paper in the waste basket and his empty carton on the milk tray. Mr. Bungle probably wouldn't bother to put his lunch tray in the right place either, but Phil and his friends did. Lunch was good today. And then Miss Brown told Phil and his friends how proud she was of them. They had left their table the neatest in the lunchroom. No one here was a Mr. Bungle, and no one wanted to be. Are you like Mr. Bungle? Mr. Bungle is a shame because he spoils lunchtime. Don't be like Mr. Bungle. Have good lunchtime manners, and lunch will be more fun for everyone.
Package makes 2 quarts of Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid, 9 great flavors, the drink you love. Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid,
for the very best drink you ever made.
Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid,
Be sure that the envelope says Kool-Aid.
You can give your youngsters a lot of pleasure with Kool-Aid. You know it's pure and good. It has the Parents Magazine seal. And it's so thrifty. A 5-cent package makes 2 full quarts. Just add Kool-Aid to water with ice, add some sugar, and stir.
for the very best drink you ever made.
Be sure that the envelope says Kool-Aid.
American General Pictures imprisons you in a bloody web of terror. Spider Baby has the seductive innocence of Lolita and the savage hunger of a black widow. Spider Baby will give you nightmares forever. No man that loves her lives to love another. Her sweet kisses engulf you in a bloody web of horror. Spider Baby will thrill you, then kill you. Starring Spider Baby and Lon Chaney. For the horror thrill of your life, see Spider Baby from American General Pictures.
Wow.
Don't be like Mr. Bungle.
Don't be a Mr. Bungle.
Don't be a Mr. Bungle.
Nobody wants a Mr. Bungle at their table.
No, they want a Faith No More. You gotta be more well behaved. You gotta be more of a Faith No More than a Mr. Bungle. Some of you get this joke, some of you don't. If you don't, I'm sorry. You should listen to more Faith No More and Mr. Bungle.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, we found this.
They're bands.
We found this and it's just golden. It's like, what? This must be where he got the name.
Yeah, no, I love that fucking movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, don't be Mr. Bungle.
Did you notice that cake was the biggest part of their meal?
Wow, it was a gigantic piece of cake.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I never got it.
I expected them to get a hamburger, but no, they got a piece of cake that was the size of fucking Iowa.
Yeah, I never got cake like that when I was in
I
school.
never once had cake like that.
No. It was awesome.
Even at a wedding, even at my wedding.
What? We
I
had
never
an
had.
amazing cake. Don't you tell lies.
We had a delicious cake, I just didn't have a piece of cake that big.
What? I don't know. I think you're fibbing.
I don't know either, I was
It was a
fucking drunk.
gorgeous cake. It was so pretty.
It was a beautiful cake.
Oh my God. It was all white and it had slashes down the side of it. that were
Our cake toppers
bleeding.
were pretty goddamn sweet too.
Oh, yummy.
The two running victims
Yes.
running away from the fucking spider robot monster.
Yes. Spider Robot Monster. And we were the two like.
That was
Right.
super fun.
Anyway.
So
Don't
what's
be a
next?
Mr.
We
Bungle.
got more shit on our
Mhm.
educational playlist.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was gonna look it up,
I don't know.
and now I can't remember what it is.
I don't know. Maybe had a party or something. There are a few that.
It's something that's gonna help you. The grade school section is over. The grade school section is over. We are going to educate you through the entire school system
That's right.
and beyond.
That's right.
That was the grade school part.
This crazy.
That's everything you need to know before you turn 11. Okay?
Have
Now we're going to
manners.
show you the shit you need to learn between 11 and 13. I think, because I don't remember what it is. But it's coming up right now.
Yeah, and it might be a really good one like this last one about not being a Mr. Bungle, or it might be full of just insane amounts of propaganda. We don't know. I mean, having manners is good, but some of this stuff we've seen and we're going to show you is pretty fucked up.
And don't worry. I know you're all disappointed about the fact that it's not horror movies. It's not, there's no beheadings, there's none of this
Yeah, but
shit.
it's sickening on a
But
deeper
here's the thing,
level.
we're gonna end the night with a movie that, as far as I'm concerned, maybe not you, but if you do feel that way, then if you feel that this movie is absolutely fine, I might
Something
have
is
some problems
deeply
with
wrong
you
with
personally.
you.
It's a really sickening film.
Yeah.
We watched House by the Cemetery on here.
we watched all
We've watched all
kinds of
kinds of
things.
shit, and I mean, House by the Cemetery is really the one that sticks out, as far as depravity and grotesqueries and such.
I love that one.
But what we're gonna watch in just a little while is sicker than anything we've ever watched.
It's really gross.
It really was gross.
Yeah.
It was really gross.
Yep.
But in the meantime, let's watch this next one, whatever it is. But it's educational. There are books here.
That's right.
Dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and cover, ducked and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
And you,
and you and you.
duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover. This is an official civil defense film produced in cooperation with the Federal Civil Defense Administration and in consultation with the Safety Commission of the National Education Association. Produced by Archer Productions, Incorporated. Hey, Bert, come on out and meet all these nice people, please. Oh, all right. We really can't blame you. You see, Bert is a very, very careful fellow. When there's danger, this is the way he keeps from being hurt. Sometimes it even saves his life. That's why these children are practicing to duck and cover just as you do in your school. We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Since it may be used against us, we must get ready for it, just as we are ready for many other dangers that are around us all the time. Fire is a danger. It can burn whole buildings if someone is careless. But we are ready for fires. We have a fine fire department to put out the fire, and you have fire drills in your school so you know what to do. Automobiles can be dangerous, too. They sometimes cause bad accidents, but we are ready. We have safety rules that car drivers and people who are walking must obey. Now, we must be ready for a new danger, the atomic bomb. First, you have to know what happens when an atomic bomb explodes. You will know when it comes. We hope it never comes, but we must get ready. It looks something like this. There is a bright flash, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything you've ever seen. If you are not ready and did not know what to do, it could hurt you in different ways. It could knock you down hard or throw you against a tree or a wall. It is such a big explosion, it can smash in buildings and knock signboards over and break windows all over town. But if you duck and cover like Bert, you will be much safer. You know how bad sunburn can feel. The atomic bomb flash could burn you worse than a terrible sunburn, especially where you're not covered. Now, you and I don't have shells to crawl into like Bert the Turtle, so we have to cover up in our own way. First, you duck, and then you cover. And very tightly, you cover the back of your neck and your face. Duck and cover underneath a table or desk or anything else close by. In Betty's school, they are talking about the atomic bomb, too. Betty is asking her teacher, how can we tell when the atomic bomb may explode? And her teacher is explaining that there are two kinds of attack, with warning and without any warning. We think that most of the time we will be warned before the bomb explodes, so there will be time for us to get into our homes, schools, or some other safe place. Our civil defense workers and our men in uniform will do everything they can to warn us before enemy planes can bring a bomb near us. You may be in your schoolyard playing when the signal comes. That signal means to stop whatever you are doing and get to the nearest safe place fast. Always remember, the flash of an atomic bomb can come at any time, no matter where you may be. You might be out playing at home when the warning comes. Then be sure to get into the house fast, where your parents have fixed a safe place for you to go. If you are not close to home when you hear the warning, go to the nearest safe cover. Know where you are to go, or ask an older person to help you. You know the places marked with the S sign? They're safe places to go when you hear the alarm. If there is a warning, You will hear it before the bomb explodes. But sometimes, and this is very, very important, sometimes the bomb might explode without any warning. Then the first thing we would know about it would be the flash. And that means duck and cover fast, wherever you are. There's no time to look around or wait. Be like Bert. When there is a flash, duck and cover, and do it fast. Here are some older boys showing what to do if the flash comes when you are not in the classroom. This is what to do if you should be in a corridor. You duck and cover tight against the wall this way. Remember to keep your face and the back of your neck covered tightly. Try to fall away from windows or doors with glass in them. Then, if the glass breaks and flies through the air, it won't cut you. You might be eating your lunch when the flash comes. Duck and cover under the table. Then, if the explosion makes anything in the room fall down, it can't fall on you. Getting ready means we will all have to be able to take care of ourselves. The bomb might explode when there are no grown-ups near. Paul and Patty know this, and they're always ready to take care of themselves. Here they are on their way to school on a beautiful spring day. But no matter where they go or what they do, they always try to remember what to do if the atom bomb explodes right then. It's a bomb. Duck and cover. Paul and Patty know what to do. Paul covered the back of his head so that he wouldn't be burned, and Patty covered herself with the coat she was carrying. They knew how to duck and cover. They acted right away when the flash came. If they had been at this doorway when the bomb flashed, Paul and Patty would have ducked and covered this way, like this girl. Heavy doorways are a good place to duck and cover. She will be safer, too. Here's Tony going to his Cub Scout meeting. Tony knows the bomb can explode any time of the year, day or night. He is ready for it. Duck and cover. Atta boy, Tony. That flash means act fast. Tony knows that it helps to get to any kind of cover. This wall was close by, so that's where he ducked and covered. Tony knew what to do. Notice how he keeps from moving or from getting up and running? He stays down until he is sure the danger is over. The man helping Tony is a civil defense worker. His job is to help protect us when there is danger of the atomic bomb. We must obey the civil defense worker. We must know how to duck and cover in the school bus or in any other bus or streetcar. Duck and cover. Don't wait. Duck away from the windows fast. The glass may break and fly through the air and cut you. Sundays, holidays, vacation time, we must be ready every day, all the time, to do the right thing if the atomic bomb explodes. Duck and cover. This family knows what to do, just as your own family should. They know that even a thin cloth helps protect them. Even a newspaper can save you from a bad burn. But the most important thing of all is to duck and cover yourself, especially where your clothes do not cover you. No matter where we live, in the city or the country, we must be ready all the time for the atomic bomb. Duck and cover. That's the first thing to do, duck and cover. The next important thing to do after that is to stay covered until the danger is over. Yes, we must all get ready now so we know how to save ourselves if the atomic bomb ever explodes near us. If you do not know just what to do, ask your teacher when this film is over. Discuss what you could do in different places if a bomb explodes. Older people will help us as they always do, but there might not be any grown-ups around when the bomb explodes. Then, you're on your own.
Remember what to do, friends. Now tell me right out loud. What are you supposed to do when you see the flash?
Duck and cover. Duck and cover. Duck and cover.
Take Sears back to school and learn the ABCs of saving on all corduroy pants, including tough skins for boys and girls. Save 25% on pants that pass the test for fit, value, and easy care. Plus, save 25% as you multiply your looks this fall, wearing this reversible parka washable sweater, and pleated pants. And for $20 to $50 savings on electric typewriters that let you correct mistakes with ease, you can count on Sears.
The artist, the poet, the figure model who loves to show it.
You suppose he could be physically attracted to her?
No, man, he ain't the type. He don't get enough vitamin E.
All these are beat. All these you'll meet in A Bucket of Blood.
Let us make the scene. Crazy.
Come, enjoy yourself. Where the hilarious enjoy the horrifying in A Bucket of Blood.
No, you're gonna shoot me! Don't shoot!
Come to the land of living dreams, where realists dream of the unreal.
Walter, you've done something to me. Something deep down inside of my prana. Oh, Walter, I want to be with you. You're creative.
Beatniks at their bawdiest. The creative urge at its most primitive.
I'm deeply moved, and I shall compose a poem.
Love is art. Art is love. It's the weirdest and the wildest.
I don't want to make statues anymore. I want to get married. To you.
Cece, I mean, we need to be educated about this shit. You know? I mean, if the bombs are dropping, I mean, we're gonna start shooting them into hurricanes before too long. Do you understand what that's gonna happen? What's gonna happen then?
Oh my God.
You're gonna have to duck and cover like a motherfucker.
God, duck and cover. I wonder if anybody ever really thought that was gonna work.
People do kind of believe what they're told.
I mean, it's being like so shoved down these kids' throats for
Yep.
so long in such a happy way. Like, it's really gonna save you.
You know what the fucked up thing
It is gonna save you if you duck and cover.
The fucked up thing is that I bet there are people still alive who believe that shit.
Oh, that's so crazy. I can't even imagine.
I mean, that's only a little older than my parents if you were watching that shit in grade school.
Yeah, I can't actually imagine feeling like that would ever keep you safe. You know? And knowing as a child, like, no matter
Well, but at the time they didn't know
what.
the consequences of, like,
even with their
fucking
happy
nuclear
little
fallout.
songs, their happy little songs, and their, I mean, it's a terrifying movie.
Well, that makes it
really, you know, they try to normalize it and make it okay and make you feel empowered, like you know what to do. That's terrifying, all of it. Like, we watch some scary movies, but this shit scares me. It's so
It's
awful.
pretty gnarly.
It is. With the happy little fairy tale and the song, like a little jingle from the 50s.
Everybody loves a cartoon turtle.
Wow, right? Exactly. And what
They
is
really
with
do.
that monkey with the dynamite? Whoa.
The monkey with dynamite is my favorite part.
I know.
I always love a monkey with dynamite. We might.
Knives.
Now, I don't know for sure. Now, we might be able to watch on a future episode, we might be able to watch Creepers.
Ooh, Creepers.
Which is a movie starring Jennifer Connelly
Oh, yeah.
and Donald Pleasance.
Yes.
And directed by Dario Argento.
Yes.
And it's actually called Phenomena. But I bet we can't watch the one called Phenomena. I bet there's a copyright block on that. But I bet if we look up the one called Creepers, we can watch it.
I love that movie. I think it's cool.
And so you'll miss a couple of fucking scenes, but there's some great monkey shit in that movie.
Yes. More monkey shit. Anyway, holy shit, duck and cover.
We've learned so far tonight, back to school night on Movies from the Madhouse, we have
Yes.
learned if there's bombs, duck and cover.
That's right, no matter what. And always be ready. At a
Mhm.
picnic, at school, when you're walking around
Always.
with your friends, always be ready for the atomic bomb.
You got to.
I mean,
Those fucking Russians.
my God.
I remember hearing about it. You know what I remember? I remember I would, when I was a small child, I was like fucking 5 years old. My brother was like 3 years old. I remember my parents watched the news a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'd see the news, and then later in the day we would acquire a balloon somewhere, and we would bounce it back and forth, and one of us would be the USA and one of us would be Russia,
Oh my
and we
God.
pretend it was a nuclear bomb.
Oh my God.
That's how fucking bad the Cold War was ingrained to you in like
Wow.
1982, 1983.
Wow.
You know,
I mean, just going on
as a child.
for decades of normalizing it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What are we gonna watch next, Master Seth?
Ah, fuck, I don't know. It's gotta be educational. It's the back to school special. We said the last one was gonna be a middle school one, but really that one goes for everybody.
Yeah, duck and cover.
Like I
It's
said,
gonna
we're
save
we're,
your
we're gonna
life.
start shooting nukes into hurricanes, so
Oh my God.
you need to know this shit. So I don't know. It's gonna be another piece of growing up. Another piece of growing up and growing old and making your way through the hazardous minefield of youth.
Maybe something about juvenile delinquency.
It's quite possible. Let's see. I don't remember what was coming up next, to be perfectly honest with you. I'll have a lot to say afterwards. We gotta have a lot to say because we don't have a lot of fucking film footage tonight, so you're gonna have to deal with us talking a lot tonight.
Whatever.
I hope you like it.
Let's watch something about juvenile delinquency.
Alright. I'm into it.
Alright.
Alright.
Here he comes. Where are we heading? Tell you when we pick up Jamie. What's that guy waiting for? Get him a bomb. Yeah. Hit him again.
Oh, cut it out. We'll get in a jam.
What's the matter? You chicken or something? Come on, move it!
What do you punks think you're doing anyway?
What was that you called us?
Well, I just bought that car. Now look.
Don't you have any homework, Jamie?
I told you no. Going out as soon as the guys come by to get me.
What time? It's already after 8. I don't know why you can't stay home for one evening. Your father'll be home in a little bit. Should be home now. Just where is it you're going, Jamie?
If I knew, I'd tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, boys, I'll write your orders with my new pencil.
Hey, those are great. My dad's got one just like it. Where'd you get it?
We just swarmed all over a guy. Fell out of his pocket.
What? When did this happen?
Just before we picked you up.
We bumped some guy in a big Buick and he gets out and starts getting smart.
Yeah, starts calling us names.
Boy, did we give it to him. We sure messed him up. You should have been there, Jamie.
Who was he?
I don't know, some big bald-headed guy.
What kind of a card you say it was?
Oh, it was, what's the matter with you?
I asked you what kind of a car it was. I want to know.
It was a yellow Buick. Why? What do you want to know for, Jamie?
What's his trouble?
I don't know, but this isn't the place to find out. We'll see him in the morning at school when we give this to him.
Jamie,
How's Dad?
how did you know?
I heard it over the radio. How is he?
He'll be all right. He's resting now. He was terribly shaken up and bruised, though. Oh, it makes me sick to think about it.
Jamie.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry.
There's nothing for you to be sorry about, son. It wasn't your fault. I'm all right now. You'd better get upstairs to bed.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Better take this back, Jamie.
We didn't know it was your dad, Jamie.
We wouldn't have done it if we'd known.
Leave me alone.
Take it, Jamie.
You keep it. I don't want anything more to do with it.
Now, look, Jamie, don't get smart. Don't forget, you could have been along instead of one of us. Could have been one of our dads. Wouldn't see me moping around if it had been my old man.
Don't worry. I'm not forgetting a thing. Just count me out from now on.
There he is.
Jamie, we want to talk to you.
He's busy.
Have you seen the paper this morning, Jamie?
Have you read about the special session of the city council they're having this morning?
And all the things they're talking about doing, a curfew, upping the age of driver's licenses, canceling the football games, the parties, the dances, and everything else.
And it isn't fair, Jamie. Most of the high school students haven't had anything to do with the things that have been happening. Like last night, and the statue that was broken, and the theater seats, and all that. But we're all going to suffer for it.
I didn't have anything to do with it either.
And don't look at us.
We didn't kick over any statues.
You've got to help us, Jamie.
Well, what do you expect me to do?
We're going over to the city council meeting right now and see if they won't listen to our side before they do anything about it. Mr. McPherson said we could go. He excused us from school.
And he said you could go with us.
Look, all of you, leave me out of everything you're planning. All I want to do is mind my own business.
But this is your business, Jamie.
You heard him. He's not going anywhere. He's no sap. We're going to the city council.
Go ahead and laugh. Right now, you guys are more afraid than we are, but you're not fooling us. You think you can laugh at anybody who stands up to you, and pretty soon everyone else is laughing at him, and you think you've won. Well, I don't care if you laugh or not. It won't be funny if the city council does what they're talking about.
I wouldn't advise any of you to go to that meeting if I were you. I'm warning you.
Are you going with us, Jamie?
No, he's not.
I'm talking to Jamie.
What do you want me to do?
They'll listen to you, Jamie, because it was your dad that...
I'll go with you.
You're not going anywhere.
We're not talking about pranks and letting off steam. We're talking about criminal acts of violence. I say if these kids want to go around beating up people and wrecking things to prove how tough they are, then it's time we prove to them just how tough we are.
Mayor Honeywell, could we say something? I'm sorry.
What's all this?
Do you have some facts to give us that we don't already have?
I don't know whether you'd call them facts or not, but, well, everybody keeps talking about teenagers as if we were a bunch of freaks or something.
We're just wasting time. We wasted too much time already. We've invited Mr. McPherson here. He's principal of the high school, and he can tell us anything these kids can tell us.
No, I'm sorry, I can't. That's why when these students came to me today, I asked them if they'd be willing to come down here and put their case before you. And I think you should hear what they have to say. This is Bill Stillwell, the head of the student council, and Chuck Leewood, captain of our football team, and Sally Lawrence here, the senior class president,
And Jamie's dad was the one who got hurt last night.
Mr. Mayor, I think Mr. McPherson's right. And I think these students are right, too. Teenagers aren't all delinquents. Only a few are involved in these criminal acts that we're all concerned about. If these teenagers, who represent all of the rest, have the courage to come here, then I think we should not only listen to them, but I think we should invite them to help us stamp out this vandalism. I say let's let them talk.
We don't want to punish all teenagers for the trouble a few are causing, but something has to be done. You know how serious the juvenile delinquency problem has become. We have to take some action to prevent this sort of thing from happening again. Now, if you have some suggestions to offer, we're willing to listen to you. What can we do? And what can you do to prevent juvenile delinquency? You tell us.
What would you do if you were Jamie? What can we do about juvenile delinquency? What would you say?
Carrots, carrots, rising out of the great carrot patch. Paradise for any rabbit. Except me. You see? I like Trix better than carrots. Trix, the corn cereal with the tangy taste of natural fruit. Fruit colors, too.
Those crispy Trix fruit colors make me a happy fellow. There's raspberry red, orange, and luscious lemon yellow.
So, when you got a box of beautiful Trix, who needs carrots?
You do, silly rabbit, 'cause Trix are for kids.
Ooh, what a sneak.
A Big G General Mills cereal.
The biggest, bloodiest horror show in history. I drink your blood. Men become animals and eat their victims. I drink your blood.
rabies and turns a group of men into a band of bloodthirsty zombies ravaging a peaceful countryside. I drink your blood will make your blood curdle and your skin crawl. But you will sit there and suffer through the tortures of the damned. You will sit and watch this shocking ugliness splashing across the screen. You will ask yourself, what acts of sadism will this electric knife be used for? What horrors will be performed with this axe, this hose, this dagger, this gun, this sword? All the implements necessary to make this the ultimate in adult horror films. We have painted a bloody picture, but it is only a small part of what actually takes place in I Drink Your Blood. Can you take it? If you have a strong constitution, we challenge you to test it and sit through. I drink your blood.
What would you do?
So many questions. So many questions.
My goodness.
We learned tonight. Mind your manners. Duck and cover.
Yes.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a juvenile delinquent. They were so not even like good juvenile delinquents.
They were pretty weak
I'm
juvenile
sorry.
delinquents.
I mean, really, like
John Waters could have done a hell of a lot better.
So much fucking better. Oh my god.
He'd have made them the main characters too.
God. But yeah, this with their silly little patches and their, I don't know, it's pretty ridiculous.
Also, I said we were going in middle school. No, fuck middle school. We just went straight to high school.
Skipped to high school.
Fuck middle school. Nobody liked middle school. Middle school was the worst years of my goddamn life.
Hey, that doesn't mean it would be the worst years for everybody. You know.
Middle school is the worst years for everybody. If it's the best, tell us your story. Email us at moviesfromthemadhouse@gmail.com. Or get us on Facebook and Twitter and all that shit. Alright, so we got a couple more of these little movies for you on our back to school episode. We got our textbooks. It all mostly has to do with witchcraft and demonology, but that's the way it is here at the Madhouse.
I think I gotta reset. I'm sorry.
That's alright. That's alright. I was just about to say let's start over.
Like threw me off, and I'm just, I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, honey, I was with you.
I'm trying to like be entertaining, but in all honesty, like our kid's about to go into middle school, like, but it just got too real for me, and I'm not, like, I'm sorry that your middle school year sucked, but it just, I don't know. Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what we have so far is Mind Your Manners,
That's right, especially in the lunchroom. Don't be a Mr. Bungle.
Don't be a Mr. Bungle, be a Faith No More. It's more well behaved.
The crazy duck and cover.
Second, we learn to duck and cover.
Because that's going to save you from the...
That's going to save you from when we start sending goddamn bombs into hurricanes.
That's right.
Third, we learned, don't be a dick. Don't be a juvenile delinquent.
They were really sucky juvenile delinquents, though. I mean, honestly...
Here's the thing, I
they
know,
weren't, like, super
and
cool juvenile delinquents.
They weren't even that cool.
It wasn't like 50s greases, crazy greaser gang. Like, it wasn't...
These were not
anything.
Stephen King juvenile delinquents.
No, they weren't like...
So something I've thought about numerous times, let me digress for a moment, is that Stephen King must have had a trouble with greasers when he was a kid.
Always portrays them as...
They're always portrayed.
evil.
Whenever there's bad teenagers in a book, he would like to place it in the 50s and put greasers in it. This goes for It. This goes sometimes they come back.
The Body.
Yes, The Body, aka Stand By Me.
Right.
Yeah. No, there's always bad greasers.
Bad
If
greasers.
anything takes place in the 50s, and it often does.
I like John Waters' take on greasers.
I like John Waters' take on greasers all right.
I did.
Crybaby's a good movie, but it's far from my favorite of John Waters' movies. I
Oh,
know
I
you
know.
like it a lot,
I
but
do
it's
love it
far
a lot.
from
And
my
I
favorite of
love-
John Waters' movies.
I pretty much love everything he does.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't consider Crybaby a high point.
Well, I love it. So, yeah. I don't know. It's good. It's really good. I would have actually liked the Cramps to have done the music more. Once you told me about that story.
Yeah, the Cramps were supposed to do the soundtrack for it.
Yeah, Cramps were supposed to do the soundtrack, and like somehow
It had shit to do with
there was
agents and management
yeah,
and shit, you know.
John Waters never
miscommunication.
even knew that, and they got hired and fired, and ended up running into each other later.
Yeah.
You know.
Telling each other they wish they'd have known each other before and done and worked with each other.
I wish that too. I wish that.
And me too.
So much.
So the Cramps and John Waters would
Oh
be
my
a
God.
perfect fucking mix.
So good. So good.
It would have been.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been.
Daydreaming. I mean, night dreaming. I mean, fantasizing. All right, what's
Meditating.
next?
Well, what's next? Okay, so the last one was put out by the Centron Corporation.
Oh yes, Centron.
And the next one were, most of these movies were put out by, what is the Cornet company? Most of these 50s educational films. But the last one and the one we're going to watch are put out by Centron. Which means there's a pretty goddamn solid chance that Herc Harvey directed them.
Herc Harvey. We promised you some Herc Harvey.
We promised you some Herc Harvey on our Carnival of Souls episode.
That's right.
If you haven't watched our Carnival of Souls episode,
Do that.
go fucking watch it.
Watch it.
Just fucking watch it.
So great. Such a great movie.
If you haven't seen the movie, you need to see the movie. It's fucking great. If you have seen the movie, you know it's fine to watch again.
Oh yeah, and again and again.
And if you, I mean, it's fucking you too. If you don't want to listen to us bullshit about it, you can fast forward. You can do that right now.
No. I say.
The mistress has spoken. So anyway, you get older. You pass your juvenile delinquency stage.
And then what do you have to learn?
What do you have to learn? You have to learn how to buy food.
Oh, that's pretty
You
important.
gotta and you know, if Stephen King novels are right, you go straight from fucking being a juvenile delinquent into being a husband who has to buy food or a wife who has to buy food. There were female juvenile delinquents too. Hot. They were hot. Go on YouTube and just look up female juvenile delinquents. I bet some cool shit will come up.
All the cool stuffs.
Yeah, they all those pointy bras.
Gang dabs and bullet bras.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, what do you do when you grow up? You gotta buy food. So here's another one from the Centron company.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. It's really
This is
exciting.
really exciting. So learn to buy food, and then after that, we've got one more lesson.
Oh, it's so
But
not a lesson.
it's fucking gross.
Yeah.
So but yeah, for right now, let's just figure out how to buy some fucking food, okay? Because you ain't feeding your family correctly right now. You need to watch this.
The American housewife. Who has a more important, a more responsible occupation? Wife, mother, laundress, counselor, maid, chef, purchasing agent. All of these are her duties at one time or another. If her income is limited, and most incomes are, it is her duty to be sure that what she has to spend buys the most in healthful, nutritious food for her family. Yes, she feels that she must buy wisely if she can. But just what does this mean? What can she do to be sure her money goes as far as possible? One of the first things she can do is just what this young lady is doing. Shopping from a grocery list. Using the list tends to eliminate so-called impulse buying, which is a great waster of housewives' funds. What is impulse buying? Let's take a look at Henry Slinkman. He's frequently guilty of it. Henry's going to pick up something for dinner. His wife didn't tell him what to get. Anything that looks good, she said. Henry's been working hard all day, and he's hungry. What's more, he's hungry for something different, getting tired of the same old things all the time. That's it. That's what he's hungry for, oysters. So Henry takes not one, not two, but 3 pints of oysters. The way he feels right now, he could eat all of them by himself. Henry and his wife don't often eat cake. Neither of them care much for it. But tonight, Henry's really hungry, and this cake certainly looks wonderful. Henry knows he ought to have some vegetables, good diet, and all that, you know. What's this? Henry's never seen anything like this before. Looks good, so he'll take 2. Yes, Henry is guilty of impulse buying. But how is impulse buying wasteful? When Henry finished dinner that evening, he was sure he wouldn't be able to eat another oyster for a long, long time. And almost 2 of the 3 pints that Henry bought will have to be thrown away. Neither Henry nor his wife cared for the new vegetable. Most of what he bought will go to waste. Henry and his wife tired of the cake long before it was eaten. Henry found out about impulse buying the hard way. The housewife may buy quantities which are not economical for her family. Here are 2 different size cans of the same product. The small can contains 16 ounces and costs 12 cents, or 75/100ths of a cent per ounce. The large can contains 31 ounces and costs only 22 cents, which is 71/100ths of a cent per ounce. Which shall she buy? The answer depends entirely upon the situation. If the food requirements of the family are great enough, the large can is the better buy, because all of it will be used. None will be left over. But if the family is small, the small can may be the better buy, since part of the large can would probably have been wasted.
The right answer depends upon the requirements of the purchaser. Sometimes substantial savings can be effected by buying in case lots. But this presents a storage problem that some people may not be able to solve. It's wise to be sure the food is well liked by everyone before you buy too much of it. Obviously, highly perishable foods are not suitable for quantity buying because they spoil too quickly. When buying canned goods, be sure to read the label. The information on the label is much more reliable than the flowery language of advertisements. Some labels are of the descriptive type that you see here, giving the buyer some description of what is to be found in the can. Other labels carry a letter grade, which indicates the characteristics of the contents. The meanings of the letters vary with the type of food. Usually, the grade A indicates a fancier product. For example, these grade A tomatoes are larger, more colorful, and less broken than the grade C, although both grades are probably equally nutritious and healthful. These are canned string beans. Which is grade A and which is grade C? Here, the smaller beans are grade A because they are more tender and taste better. Here are grade A and grade C peaches. Can you tell the difference? Of course you can't. Not only appearance, but taste and degree of ripeness determine the grades of these peaches. The size is of small importance. The thing to remember is to read the label. Know what you are buying before you buy. Did you ever stop to think how many ways you could buy one kind of food? Dried, canned, frozen, or fresh? It will pay you to analyze the situation and decide which is most economical for you. Usually, if it's the season when the fruit or vegetable is ripe, it will be most economical to buy it fresh. This box of strawberries will cost about half as much in summer when berries are plentiful, as it will in winter. The season of the year has a tremendous influence on the price of most fruits and vegetables. The reason for this great difference in price is the cost of transporting the food from a warm climate where it can be grown in winter to the market, which may be several hundred miles distant. Different kinds of fruits and vegetables are in season at different times throughout the year. It will be more economical for you to serve the ones that happen to be in season at any particular time. You may find that you can save money by doing your own preservation of foods. Home canned food will usually cost less than commercially canned, and if the housewife's time is not too highly valued, this can be a saving. Frozen foods are the nearest thing to fresh foods available. They are convenient, easily prepared, and palatable, but they are usually priced higher than other types. This price is partially offset by the fact that there is no waste. There are various meats available to the housewife, ranging from the most tender, most expensive cuts to the equally nutritious but less tender portions of the animal, which are sometimes ground or chopped. At this point, the cooking ability of the housewife becomes highly important. It doesn't take much skill to make an excellent meal from an expensive T-bone steak. But the sign of an accomplished cook is an attractive and tasty dish made from less expensive meat, hamburger. frankfurters. Even a well-prepared, well-seasoned stew is a dish a housewife can be proud to set before her family. The nutritive value of meats varies little with price. The desirability and small proportion of the tender cuts causes them to be priced higher. Milk is an important part of every good diet, but your attempts to economize on it may have disastrous results. Use the best grade of milk available to you. Disease may be contracted through drinking unsanitary raw milk. Now let's review the important rules for buying wisely. Shop from a grocery list to avoid impulse buying. Decide upon the most economical quantity for your family. Check in your local market as to which form of food is the most economical for you. Purchase fruits and vegetables in season whenever possible. Do your own food preservation when feasible. Exercise your skill and ingenuity in preparing tasty and healthful dishes from less expensive meats. You'll find that keeping these things in mind will help you to buy wisely and stay within your food budget.
Good luck, Mary. Stop by and see us the next time you're in.
Thank you, but I'm never coming back.
I don't know about that girl.
How do you mean?
Day before yesterday, she was the only one of 3 girls to survive an accident. You'd think she'd feel a little something. Maybe in her place, I'd do the same thing. Just pick up life again. But I still say she's behaving strangely.
I have no desire for the close company of other people.
My dear, you cannot live in isolation from the human race.
Who's the man in the hall?
Maybe you heard the boards pop or something.
I didn't hear him, Mrs. Thomas. I saw him.
There's nobody there.
He's been following me, that's all there is to it.
That old pavilion out by the lake. Somehow you associate it with all this, don't you?
There was someone else there. That strange man was there.
Hysteria won't solve anything. Now control yourself.
You think I imagined all of it, don't you? You think I'm insane?
I didn't say that. I don't mean that.
That's just what I need. Get mixed up with some girl who's off her rocker.
I don't want to be left alone.
Well, if she's got a problem, it'll go right along with her.
There is no shortage of monsters to haunt our dreams. Like the creature from the Black Lagoon, deadly aliens from outer space, giant ants, man-eating sharks, and bloodthirsty grizzly bears. But the most fiendish, the most fascinating, the most terrifying creature of all may be waiting for you round the next corner. Or living right in your own home.
Years ago, people used to believe a cat was the devil in disguise. I'm beginning to think they were right.
No, cut! I said scream. Do you call that a scream? Those are spikes, real spikes coming towards you.
I just don't feel scared.
Now, I will show you what terror means.
How are you going to convince the people what you're writing about is true?
I had access to the police statements and the doctor's report on the bodies. Believe me, I do know what happened.
There are millions of them, everywhere, spying on us, watching, waiting. When will they pounce?
That was exciting.
It was super exciting.
These are things that you need to know.
These are things that you need to know.
Yeah.
We were joking when we said it was exciting, but it is
Informative.
You gotta see her when she goes to the store.
Shut up. Don't talk shit about how
I shop that way. I shop that way. I see what's gonna get the most for my family, for my daughter.
He does. He shops with a list. He looks at prices, and I am the one that's like, ooh, I need this, and I might need that, and yeah, it's true. It's true.
Thank goodness for her, Harvey. It was the best film of the night so far.
God.
We have one more.
We do have one more.
We've both been having second thoughts about showing it to you because it's really fucking gross.
Ugh. We're gonna watch it.
But it seems wrong to not show it to you now that we've built it up that much.
I mean, you know, yeah, it's.
But it's pretty fucking gross.
It's weird. It's really weird. It's really shameful. It's gross.
Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, you learned how to buy food, and that was informative. And before that, you learned how to not be the juvenile delinquent because juvenile delinquents are bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, you learned what? Not to be a Mr. Bungle.
Yes.
Right? And now we've got a more
sleaze
grown-up film for you to not learn because it's the most bullshit thing I might have ever seen. So, I mean,
fuck you're learning.
Yeah, like, no, this is some fucked up shit we're about to watch.
You thought it was
Right.
going to be an educational episode. Fuck
Yeah.
you're learning.
All right, you ready?
We're showing some gnarly shit. Okay, okay. We going to have a little talk about this afterwards?
Oh, we're going to have such a talk.
All right.
About
I'm into it. I'm into it. I'm into it.
I might be super
Let's watch
pissed.
How to Undress for Your Husband. fuck, people are not even gonna watch it, and they're gonna be like, I hate this so
Oh.
much.
Oh. I mean, it seems like, ooh, how to undress for your husband.
No, it doesn't seem that way to anybody
Are you
anymore.
ready? Are you ready? Because we're doing it. And then we're going to talk about it. And then you can send in comments too. And, you know.
At moviesfromthemadhouse@gmail.com.
That's right.
Or on our Facebook, or on our Twitter, or on our Instagram. Nobody gets in touch with us at all.
Well, you know, do it.
I mean, a couple of people do, but... So yeah, what I said was a lie.
All right, let's go.
Movies from the Madhouse, back to school special.
This may appear to be only monkey business, but in reality it's very serious, ladies. The demon with a glint in his eye and the little black gadget is a candid camera addict. Public menace #1, for all the peeping toms of all the generations pale into insignificance with modern super peeper. While the scene you now see being not to see the no longer safe, ladies, for homes. For this fiend is liable to be anywhere, hiding in the folds of your shower curtain. And let me warn you, don't cling to the idea that a closed door will stop this snapshot sniper. It won't. For where there's a door, there's generally and keyholes simply bring out the peep in him. The victims of this focus fiend invariably end up in the soup. Sometimes the soup is only the photographer's developer. On other occasions, it's front-page notoriety. This all depends, of course, on who she is, what she did, and where she did it. He's no respecter of persons, this photophobia addict. And to illustrate my point, we'll just tag along as the super snooper pays a visit to the boudoir of a famous Hollywood personality, Elaine Barry Barrymore. As we edge up to the keyhole, we find Miss Barry just returning from a Hollywood party. It's 6:30 a.m. Of course, Miss Barry is totally unaware of our presence, and therefore is completely at ease, doing the things she does naturally, without ostentation. In the old days, the boudoir was considered a sanctuary where a lady could retire, if she wished to, in privacy. But in this age of snooping reporters and candid cameramen, nothing is sacred. In the flat below, there lives another Hollywood celebrity, Miss Trixie Fraganza. And she, too, is returning from a party. So let's settle here and now the question of how and how not to front of your husband. Down through the ages, women have paid meticulous attention to the matter of dressing. They have consumed hours and hours in getting just the precise effect desired.
Each dainty garment has been donned with the utmost care and thought. No amount of time or effort has been considered wasted if the final result was alluring glamour. But ladies, when it came to undressing, that was something else again. Technique was thrown to the winds, angles were disregarded, charm and allure were entirely forgotten. Now, Miss Barry is unquestionably an authority on undressing, and I suggest that you watch her closely. Notice the ease and grace with which she slips out of things. No lost motion, no awkwardness. From all appearances, you'd think she'd spent her life undressing. That truly is artistry. Ah, there should be some developments here. No, I'm afraid the developing has gone the limit. However, Trixie's been around, and when it comes to undressing, she should be able to show us a thing or two. Oh, now, Trixie, please, don't forget your bedroom manners. Back in the Barry boudoir. Now I'm sure we'll see something, for Miss Barry has excellent bedroom habits, and she unquestionably has it. Oh, she must have it, or didn't she capture the world's greatest lover? She not only knows how to get a husband, but how to keep him. A what? Well, that's what it says in the script. Ah, now we're getting right down to business. Wasn't that executed beautifully? Doesn't that prove beyond all doubt that it isn't what you obviously reveal, but what you artfully conceal that makes disrobing an intriguing art? Have you noticed the poise of the body, the rhythm of each graceful movement? To the appreciative, there is in a scene like this something truly uplifting. Yes, indeed. Style, charm, and distinction come from neither beauty nor money, nor a combination of the two. They are the simple result of aesthetic sense, cultivated taste, and a persistence in maintaining the lovely little tricks that every girl practices on her first sweetheart. Miss Barry has a subtle artistic ability to inject suspense into her disrobing, a most commendable habit, ladies, and one that should be universally adopted. Now, she's about to slip out of her slip. No, it's not a slip. It's her, well, let's skip it. To convey to you precisely what I mean by aesthetic sense, let's follow the candid camera to Trixie's once more, where that other celebrated taker-offer may be able to show us a few other wrinkles. Trixie, after all, you know, we're holding you up as a colossal example of boudoir finesse, and millions of women all over the world are eagerly waiting to see just how you do it. Come, Trixie. Let's get down to the foundation. It's easy to see how this gal puts up such an imposing front, Trixie. These ladies are all here to learn how to undress. They're not interested in how to take down an awning.
Oh.
They want to see your technique.
Oh.
Isn't that awful? The SS Normandy is in. Really, ladies, I'm terribly sorry. This sequence has turned out to be a perfect bust. Well, anyway, a bust. And that man's here again. Now, for a little light on a real subject. Let me see. What you going to do now? Rest? No, I believe there's something coming off here. Oh, yes, of course. The stockings. She has lovely eyes, don't you think? Well, to tell you the truth, I hadn't noticed them myself. You see, ladies, Miss Barry always rolls her stockings down from the top, never from the bottom up. That's a very good point to remember. There's a delightful nonchalance about this little lady, a studied indifference that is certainly effective. Invariably, she keeps you guessing as to what she'll do next. A trick which never fails to intrigue the average husband. When Elaine rolls them, they stay rolled. I mean the stockings, of course. Trixie even gets into her own hair. Life is just a bowl of cherries to Trixie, but she's the pits. And take a look at the hooses she's got on her head. Those things went out with blind pigs. Well, they'd have to be blind to take Trixie out. How her husband must thrill to such exotic charms. No wonder he has business at the office. I'm afraid I'd have business in South Africa. This little pig went to market.
This one stayed home.
You're a big girl now. Oh, look at that. Is that grace or disgrace? You're just wasting your time, Trixie.
Oh, shoot.
It'll take a broad axe to whittle that down.
Oh, what a battle.
Now, really, Trixie, is that...
Oh.
You'll blow a gasket someday.
Well.
As it's turned out, you're probably gazing upon the greatest exponent of what not to do in a bedroom. To keep a husband, she'll have to keep him. Ah, but this is something else again. A soft, balmy night, dreamy music, and a touch, just the merest touch of some subtle perfume. Mrs. Johnson, that'll get him. You know, the average woman will use every bit of feminine trickery at her command to sell herself to the man she loves, until she lands him. And after that, she just sends him monthly invoices. I think this worry is about over, though. In a few moments, Trixie will fold up like a dump truck and call it a day. Yes, I was right. The dreadnought is about to drop anchor.
Oh, yeah?
Through the all-seeing eye of the candid camera, you have witnessed the correct and the incorrect method of retiring. In the instance of Miss Barry, you have seen how it is quite possible to disrobe quietly, gracefully, without effort. There's no need to get out of your clothes as though you were emptying a sack of potatoes. There's no point in leaving your bedroom like a cyclone had struck it. After all, Trixie, we like you, and fun is fun, but please, don't be primitive. As for you, Trixie, I'm cured. A do not disturb sign will no longer bring out the keyhole peeper in me. You have quashed it completely. At last, we sigh with deep regret to think this lesson's done. Such sweet repose, such lovely power. And hubby's asleep. He's been out for an hour. And ladies, a final word of warning. This candid camera fiend is all about, and he'll expose you if you don't watch out.
How many times do I have to call you to dinner?
Have it your way. Have it your way. Have it your way at Burger King.
May I help you, sir?
2 Whoppers, 2 Whopper Juniors, and 4 Coca-Cola. And would I have to wait long if you made 1 Whopper with no pickle and no lettuce?
No, sir. Hold the pickle, hold the lettuce. Special orders don't upset us. All we ask is that you let us serve it your way.
Oh, well, in that case, could I have the other Whopper with extra ketchup?
Sure. We can serve your rolled beef Whopper fresh with everything on topper. Any way you think is proper, have it your way.
Now, that's the way to do things. Our way.
Have it your way. Have it your way at Burger King. At Burger King.
Oh, have you been to see Mrs. Peterson?
What do you say to a widow who finds out her husband butchered his mistress and then took his own life?
That's where Peterson hanged himself from that iron railing.
Take me away from here. I can't stand it anymore. Take me Bob, I'm here behind you. You've come. However, I told you very clearly.
I tried, but my mother wouldn't listen. She said Daddy had to do some research here.
You shouldn't have come, Bob. You shouldn't have.
But in your opinion, why would a man like him slaughter the woman he loved and then hang himself?
Well, I don't know. Human mind.
Yeah, a research project on suicide where the researcher commits suicide.
Don't go inside, whoever you are. Don't go inside. Someone's in here, Mommy! There's someone down there! Get the door open!
Where's the axe? Where's the axe? Mom! Keep away from the door!
No, I will.
Don't worry, Bobby. I'll get you out.
Why? Who's there? Who's in this house?
Dr. Freudstein!
Bob! No, Bob. You should have listened to what I said. Dad, what have we done? It's a body. We...
Come on, give me a hand. Let's take him to the hospital.
What is it?
I don't know.
Is it still alive?
Whatever it is, I killed it.
What are you doing in my house?
You're right. He does look like a spaceman.
things turn out to be unfriendly.
Now what'll we do?
Oh man, I had to change my shirt after that.
That's gross.
You changed too.
I did. Look at
Actually, no, this one took us 2 goddamn days to shoot. A lot more work going into a back to school special than you would have thought.
Yeah, well, this definitely isn't like for the school children. It's so messed up and weird. All of them were, but this one was on a different level. I mean, in my opinion, it was definitely on a different level of disgusting.
It's pretty fucking gross. All kinds of shaming going on in that one.
So
Women
much.
shaming, slut shaming, fat
Oh my
shaming.
God.
All that shit. I mean, I don't want to sound like one of these fucking social justice warriors, but the movie was just made to talk shit about some people and talk about how they ruined the life of this dude.
Yeah, basically, it's like, oh.
That is.
Oh, and what about the
pretty
peeper?
narcissistic.
The super modern peeper? I mean, what kind of like fear,
Actually, that guy was awesome.
What kind of like crazy fear bullshit was that though? That whole like
It
you know
was
what?
crazy
At
fear
any
bullshit.
time you're going to be watched. You are being watched and you are being photographed, and there is not even a closed door that's going to stop this super modern peeper from photographing you. And that was the whole premise too. It was like let's see who he's peeping on. And by the way, ladies, I mean, you should always be ready to not only undress for your husband, who wasn't even in this thing. Neither of them had anybody there, and except for the peeper, who's always watching you and always photographing you. That's so fucking creepy.
It's gross.
Yeah.
But it is also like the perfect exploitation film.
It's so sick.
It is
In its
absolutely
way, it just
100%
really is.
trying to appeal to the basest part of the psyche of one of those people who's going to a goddamn movie on the Deuce, you know, on 42nd Street, New York, you know, back when that was a thing,
I
you
don't
know.
know. I don't know. I really think that it seems more foul than that in that way. It's not
in
like,
one
it's not
way
like
I
trashy.
can
It's
say
like,
it seems
hey,
more foul.
Ladies, you need to know that you are always being watched, and you better please your husband. You better be on point all the time. And
Right.
and that is your job, is to always like look fab. I mean, of course someone wants to like look nice and feel good, and I mean, granted, but wow, that just I don't know.
Well, and
It's
here's
just
another thing is
so many
that
different things about
here's another
it.
thing is that I mean these movies were made in the 50s. They were made under the moniker of educational films.
Right, that's what
Right.
I mean.
Now,
Right.
here's the thing. When you're thinking of something called educational films, now granted, I wasn't alive in the 50s.
Right.
I was not alive in the 50s.
Right.
But I can't imagine that 50s audiences were so different from us in that when they see the words educational film, they don't just be like, I'm out. No, these were movies that were distributed to fucking schools.
Yeah.
You know, these were distributed to children.
Yeah, a lot of them.
I mean, that one maybe
Really
not to
should.
children, but to
Yeah.
teenagers,
Maybe
which
so.
are children enough.
Yeah,
you
maybe
know,
so.
depending on what you're talking about.
Yep.
And as far as something like that goes, yeah, that was. I wonder how many fucking self-worth problems that fucking movie led to
awful.
for some poor girl who was stuck in some shitty marriage, you know?
Oh yeah, and beyond that, I mean, what you know, what the media has done to women in so many ways too. You know, not only was that whole thing like, oh, you're basically owned and your husband's not happy and you need to do these things for him all the time. Oh, and by the way, you're always being watched, so you better be on point. But also, you know, the fact that, like, you have to be thin, and that is the only way to be, you know, beautiful, and that's beyond.
Not only beautiful, but even like intelligent or like
I mean, they
competent.
made
you know, and
Trixie out to be
Trixie
this,
was
like,
just a beast.
like beast. Yeah, and it was not okay. Like, the things that he says too are horrifying. It's stunning that it's just like, oh my God. I mean, I've dealt with so much in my own life. You know, I'm not a tiny girl. I've never been a tiny girl in my life. I'm short, but I'm not tiny. And I have been shamed by my family, I mean, every magazine you pick up almost is like, oh, you have to look like this. Oh, you should look like this. Your doctor, you know, my doctor. Like, it's just, it's rampant. And only recently, and I'm happy about this, recently, you know, all different body shapes are really being seen and in magazines.
Oh, that's great.
And
Everybody likes
in
something.
TV. And exactly. I mean, not everyone likes this stereotypical figure. Everyone's got a different body.
Yeah.
Everyone holds themselves differently. And doing burlesque has taught me that. And yet it's not easy. I mean, you know, I am happy to see how many incredible, gorgeous, different models of different body types there are now. You know, that makes me happy.
I am too. Because while you say everybody has their type, I just like I like girls.
Yeah.
I like all different kinds of girls.
the
I can
different
find good
kinds.
things to I can find beauty in all kinds of girls.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Every single kind,
Absolutely.
to be honest with you.
Mhm.
You know? I go into details, but it just get gross. I might get offensive to somebody, you know. I might use the wrong adjective. But yeah.
I don't know.
So we thought this episode was going to be funner, but
It's not fun. It's
that
just
last
yucky.
one was kind of gnarly. So welcome back to school, kids.
Yeah, don't believe everything that's shoved down your throat.
Never.
Question everything.
Yes, even if it aligns with your beliefs perfectly. Look at real evidence to the contrary of what you believe. Always do that.
Absolutely.
And then make your decision.
Yeah, see, we shed some wisdom your way a little bit. Next time we'll watch some
Yeah,
crazy bug movie
we just
or
watched
something
5
from,
movies
you know.
about teaching them how to be conformist 50s douchebags.
I know.
So,
and like
you know.
so white middle class. I mean, wow, all of that too. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. If you liked us tonight, great. If you didn't, fuck it. I'm sorry. It was a deviation. It was a different thing. It was our back to school special. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Back to school special. We'll be back next time with another horror movie.
Yes.
We will probably try to pick the most like standard, tame thing this time because we did such a weird thing this time. You know. But
I don't know. We never know.
But we'll see.
We'll figure it out. We might
Who
even
knows?
pull something out of the bowl at some point, and you'll just have to be surprised. That might be just the way.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, creeps and cretins, get back in your straitjackets. It's time to go back to your cells.
Don't be a Mr. Bungle.
That was your main lesson for the night. That was the only good lesson we got taught tonight. Except for the bean buying thing. I did like when that woman was buying beans. That was really good financial advice as
That's
far as
very important.
bean buying. That's a difference between 12 cents and 17 cents.
That's right. You're very astute.
Remember when beans cost 17 cents?
No.
I don't either. All right, kids, study hard. Stay off drugs.
Don't be a juvenile delinquent.
Don't be a juvenile delinquent. Just you have all kinds of time in your 20s to be a fucking douchebag. When you're in your teenage years, just do the shit you're supposed to do. You have plenty of time in your 20s to be a stupid douchebag. You move out of the house, you go to the fucking bar every goddamn night. You got all kinds of opportunities. Don't do it when you're a teenager. Do your studies.
Do your studies.
Your studies.
Watch horror movies.
Watch horror movies when you're done doing your studies.
That's right.
But not until you're done.
All right. See ya.
Good night. From Movies from the Madhouse.